Tara Lynn with 5 Acres Honey Farm. I am getting all of my seedling trays together for all of my seedling starts, which will start in about a month. I'll start growing from seed about 3 to 4 weeks into January, and I'll do that under grow lights inside. And I've heard a lot about you need to sanitize your seedling trays and make sure they're clean for the next time you use them. And I was trying to, accept that wisdom and advice, but things were really busy during the growing season last year, so I tried to start a few trays without cleaning them. I just rinsed them off with the hose, but I just put fresh soil in and seeded them, and they looked great for like a week or two, and then they all had that damping off condition, and they did not pull through. And that happened twice. I did not learn my lesson. I did it again a few weeks later when I had some time, but it takes a long time to sanitize trays. I'm going into my 3rd year of gardening, so the first year I didn't have to even consider this. I didn't even know about sanitizing trays because everything I had was brand new, and I don't want to buy brand new trays every year, so I want to use what I have for as long as I can so that I'm not producing a lot of waste. And I also, one of the things that I'm adding this year, which I'll show you in a bit, is a soil block maker. So I'm going to, hopefully this time next year, I will not be cleaning as many trays because I'll have half as many, since I'll just be creating soil blocks in the main watering trays and directly transplanting those blocks of the seedlings out rather than having seedling trays to clean. But for now, I do need to get them cleaned out, and I'll show you what I have set up here. I follow Homestead and Chill, which is Deanna Cat 3, I think, on Instagram, and she uses this method where you create a very diluted peracetic acid. And she has a great blog post, which I'll link below, and she links to research about this of course comes with warnings. You should not be doing this inside, and you should not be putting anything in a closed container that would contain peroxide and vinegar, which is what I'll be putting into the tubs that I have set up here. So let me give you a little peek over here. I've got 2 tubs set up. Both of them have 8 gallons of water in them, and my plan is to add a bottle of hydrogen peroxide and a bottle of vinegar to one of these trays, and then the other is going to remain fresh water, which I'll rinse all the trays out, and then I've got some little drying racks set up over here. So I'll show you the condition of all my things right now. So I've got my peroxide and vinegar, and this is the condition of how I've just somewhat organized, but you can see I haven't even taken the soil out of some of these, which I will do before I put them in the tray. But these were the 2 failed trays that I started last summer, so this one and that one, and these have like little 6-packs trays in here, so I've got to get them cleaned off as much as possible. But I have been using these big 72 cell trays, and I've got the soaking tray below. So I've got five sets of these. The bottom watering tray and the domes came together, and then I bought the 6-pack separate, and I still have some new 6-packs, but I don't want to get into the habit of using new. I have this stuff, I should be reusing it. All of these other containers I've just accumulated from seedlings that I bought. There was also a big free pot day at one of our feed stores, and they just had tons of these used pots around, and of course I did not sanitize anything, and I used them. I just took the gamble, everything was fine. But now that I'm going into another year using them, I want to sanitize all of these, so it might be kind of tough to get the big ones in, so I might sanitize those another day. But my plan is to sanitize all the seed cells, all of these containers, and the domes and the watering trays. One more thing I want to mention before I get started is that one of the things that I tried out last year after seeing some other Instagrammers and vloggers use is that I bought just regular like party cups, and I had my husband drill a hole in the bottom, and I used these to start all of my tomatoes last year, and it saved me a lot of time because I didn't have to pot up from those tiny little 72 cell trays pot up the tomatoes into these and then pot them up into larger containers. It just saved me that extra step and all the time of separating them. So I ended up, starting them in here, kept them in here for a long time. And then I thinned some out, but most I separated and then potted those up into larger containers or just directly transplanted them when I thinned them. And so I wanted to just mention that. I don't know how these are gonna hold up getting cleaned with the peracetic acid mixture. I've left them out in the sun before, especially when hardening off the seedlings, and a lot of them didn't make it through the rest of the season. They crack pretty easily. They're not intended for this purpose. But if you're looking for something, or if you maybe had a party and you have these cups left over, it's a good way to reuse them. Okay, I dumped as much dirt out as I could from these trays. And so my priority is to get these bottom trays, so there's 4 of them, clean and the domes clean, because I just bought some new, I guess they're kind of like a mesh underlay that goes in here, and that's where I'll be putting my soil block seedlings in them. So that's what I'll definitely be doing a month from now. I'm going to get those sanitized first, and then my next priority are these seedling containers because they're pretty sturdy. Like I mentioned about those party cup ones, which I have a lot more. Actually, I was just looking, I don't have as many of those party cups left because I had 30 or 40 of them last year. That just kind of goes to show you how many survived. However, I did give many away as like, little gifts to friends, so some went out that way. So that's like another option if you want to start some extra seedlings to give to friends and family and you don't want to get rid of your nice ones. So those are going to be next on the list, and then those big 72 cell trays and all those little 6-packs are going to be at the bottom of the list because I really want to make sure the stuff that I will definitely be using will be clean, and the other stuff can be just okay clean, because I'll probably, by the time I do get around to using it, I'll probably sanitize it again by that point, because it'll be a long time from now. So I'm gonna get started with getting the peroxide and vinegar in here and letting it soak. Okay, again, insert all warnings here. Do as much research as you can before choosing to do this. I'm using, again, I've got 8 gallons of water in both of these containers. I'm only using this one for the cleaning solution, and the other container is going to be for rinsing and cleaning. So I'm putting in, make sure this whole thing is open, a 32-ounce bottle of regular hydrogen peroxide. This was, I believe, 89 cents at the supermarket. And so some of the other options for cleaning involved straight spraying the peroxide onto the containers, which takes up a lot of time and effort of hand spraying all of them, and then you'd let it sit to have the contact time. So now I'm just putting the vinegar in, and this is a let's see, I believe this doesn't say gallons on it, but 128 ounces. Looks like it's about a gallon. I might just reserve a little bit because it looks like it's a little bit more than a gallon. But this is the 5% dilution, right? So it's diluted with water to 5% acidity. So again, the other option was to direct spray the peroxide onto the trays, let it have contact time for 10 to 20 minutes, and the other option would be to do that same method with straight vinegar, separately in 2 different cleaning options. And both of those options, I think if I practice those throughout the growing season, like I should have done, so I didn't have to do all this in one day. Like I could see, like after I transplant, if I took the tray and like sprayed it down and let it sit out, for 15 minutes and then rinsed it and just stored it, that would have saved me the effort of doing all of this. So I keep hearing all the squirrels behind me. which is distracting because I'll insert a little clip because we had a little visitor last week, a river otter, when I heard that same noise, and there was one that just ran down right behind me here. But I'll play that here. Alright, so I'm just about to put in the first tray, and I cleaned it off as best I could. I probably could clean it off a little bit better, and just getting it in there so that it submerges itself. Probably gonna clean this one off a little bit because of all the little spider webs. And let's see. So this one's got fairly little debris on it. And I'm just getting it in so that everything is submerged and that there's contact with every part of the surface. Another spider web. And I'm just gonna push this down a little. And so, oh no, my little ground cherry shell. So now that this is in here, it looks like I could fit 2 trays at a time, and that means that there is some space where I can put some of those seedling containers in. So I'm going to add that in, and then I'm going to wait 20 minutes before I rinse them. So I have probably about a dozen, maybe a little over a dozen of the seedling start trays around the side, and I have 2 of these bottom watering trays right here in the larger part of the container. So now setting the timer for 20 minutes and we'll be back. Okay, I just set out some trays to dry. You saw the condition that things were in, so it was really great to be able to take this out, rinse it and just set it out here to dry. So I won't bring them inside until they are totally dry. And I have also set up the next trays are soaking. I used a toothbrush that I soaked in vinegar first to scrub off anything extra, but you can see these are really good, clean. And so while everything is soaking, I figured I would show you what my plan is to avoid having to do so much of this next time. And I got this soil block maker, and brace yourselves, I will definitely need to wear earplugs as I'm getting the trays together. It's loud. And these are 2-inch blocks, and I'll be able to put them, block them with soil, put them in the trays. And these are the trays that I was talking about before that I just purchased. So I won't have to clean them right now, but this is what I will need to clean next year. And these will sit in those soaking bottom trays that I just showed you. And it will allow the soil blocks to keep their shape while getting the water they need. And I'm hoping that that will help reduce the effort and time this is taking to sanitize everything, because hopefully I will only need to sanitize these 5 mesh trays and the 5 bottom trays, the 5 domes, and maybe a few dozen of the seedling little potted up trays. But I don't want to have to do all those tiny little individual 72 cells because they take a long time to really get in there and get clean. But if you have any tips, please let me know. Right, this took a lot longer than expected, and I'm kind of wondering if it would have been easier for me to just spray everything down and rinse it individually, but probably not. I've got everything, you can take a look here, everything's out drying, and basically the process was just me soaking it for 15 minutes and then scrubbing it down and rinsing it and setting it out to dry, and that took about 15 minutes. So by the time I got the next batch in the cleaner, I have to wait another 15 minutes. So it took several hours to get everything in here. I think I could have made it go a little bit faster if I set up another tub with cleaner in it, and I could have done double, but I wouldn't have been able to scrub and rinse double faster than I already can. So I'm not sure if that would have been more effective, or maybe if someone was helping me that might have made it go faster too. But it was just a lesson that I need to really clean everything as I'm done using it, so that I'm not doing this on a chilly, somewhat warm winter day when I could be reading and sitting by the fireplace and thinking of the garden instead of doing all this cleaning stuff, because this is probably, it is my least favorite activity of gardening. So thanks for watching, and if you have any tips on keeping seedling containers clean, getting this process done faster, please let me know, because I don't want to spend all this time cleaning this stuff again at all. Thanks.